Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Meredith. Welcome back to Wednesday night Metta practice. I'm very happy to be here tonight to do a little practice with you guys. Welcome to the people online. I always forget to say that. All three of you. I'm glad you're here. I want to start by saying if you have any questions tonight, please feel free to ask them at any time. And I'll do my best to explain things as we go. Is anybody here tonight who's never practiced Metta before or who's really new? Okay, a couple of people. Okay. This type of meditation is guided, so you're going to hear my voice a lot tonight. But I like to also add in some quiet space to give you a chance to settle in. The meditations tend to be 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes. Pace yourself. Be patient with yourself. There's lots of different ways to practice Metta. But what's common is that in this type of meditation, we center our attention on the silent repetition of phrases rather than on our breath. Also, with this type of meditation, sometimes for people, especially in the beginning, it's not uncommon to feel things as you progress through the practice. I want to return to this after and talk about it a little bit. But before we get started, I just want to let you know that whether feelings come up for you or whether feelings don't come up for you during the practice, both are okay. The practice is really flexible. There's no need to spend your time in the meditation feeling like you're struggling, questioning yourself, being frustrated, being anxious about anything. Just try your best to stay present and recognize what's happening or not happening for you. And if you do feel something come up, just allow it. Notice it, see if it changes or disappears. Sometimes that happens if you just sit with it for a little bit. So give yourself a little bit of space to be curious rather than judgmental about what's happening for you. If for some reason during the meditation you feel like you need to move or cough, just do it. It's fine. If your brain floats off, just gently bring yourself back to your practice. If for some reason you feel yourself getting stuck, like you can't think of a person that I've asked you to call to mind, or you change your mind about who you want to focus on partway through, or you visualize a person and then they float out of your mind halfway through it and somebody else floats in, it's all fine. Just go with it. Don't worry about it. Something that's not mentioned that often, but I think is important, is that you can always just focus on yourself at any time during the practice. So when we practice Metta, the first recipient of loving kindness in our meditation is ourselves. We always start with ourselves because we're building a foundation of self-compassion. And if we can't extend goodwill and patience to ourselves, then we can't really authentically extend it to anybody else. So we start with ourselves and we meet ourselves wherever we're at each time we sit. The phrases that we use to guide us through the meditation are also flexible, meaning that you can adjust them if they don't feel authentic to you. So if anybody sat with me a couple weeks ago, you'll know that I actually changed the phrases at that point that I had been using for a really long time because they didn't really feel authentic to me at the time. And I'm probably going to use the new phrases again tonight. What else? I think I did mention if during the meditation you find that your mind wanders off, just like in any other meditation, you don't have to stress about it. Just gently bring your attention back and focus to silently repeating the phrases to yourself. The last thing I'd like to mention before we get started is something that tends to come up for people during this type of practice. The people or the groups of people that I'm going to ask you to call to mind as we go through the stages of the meditation are meditation objects. And we concentrate on them because they fall into categories for us and they trigger an emotional response within us. And that's it. I'm not cueing you to think about them because the goal is for you to figure out a way to like them or forgive them for something. That's just a confusion that seems to happen for a lot of people, especially when I guide you to think about a person you have a difficult relationship with or a group of people you find difficult or objectionable. The practice isn't asking us to force manufacture feelings that don't already exist for us. Our practice is to cultivate kindness and compassion within ourselves. That's the practice. So we cue ourselves into having ease or neutrality or difficulty or maybe even anger arises by concentrating on those different meditation objects, the different people that I ask you to call to mind. And we practice loving kindness in the face of whatever arises. And that's because when we're off our cushions and we're running around out there, this practice helps our body and our brain more easily allow kindness and compassion to arise regardless of who or what we encounter. And eventually with practice, anger arises, we recognize it as anger. We don't respond with anger, but with some even-tempered kindness or compassion. And then the anger falls. And we don't stop having emotions. We just don't react and respond with the negativity, which puts more of that negativity out into the world. So that's kind of the point of this meditation. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? We all good? Okay. All right. So let's get started. Go ahead and get comfortable. Find yourself a comfortable seated position you can maintain. If you're in a chair, you might want to sit a little bit forward so that your feet are flat on the floor. Like sit like to the front part of the chair so that your feet are absolutely flat and your back is straight. And if you need to put a cushion underneath your feet or your behind your back, if anything is bothering you tonight, you can go ahead and get up and feel free to get a cushion at any time. If you're seated on the floor, just try to sit so that your knees are lower than your hips and your back is straight. Okay, here we go. As we begin, if you'd like, you can gently close your eyes. If closing the eyes doesn't work for you, you're welcome to just direct your gaze downward, however it's comfortable for you. Just allow your vision to rest and be however it's going to be. There's no need to worry about focusing or unfocusing your vision. Just let it rest. Now, whether your eyes are open or closed, begin to bring your awareness into your body and start to notice any areas where you're holding on to tension. Try to soften and release any tension you're holding on to. Allow your awareness to come all the way into your body. And give yourself a minute to settle into this space right here, right now. If you've noticed any areas of tension, try sending your next exhaled breath there to relax and release whatever you're holding on to. Let's start by taking 3 slow, deep breaths together. Breathing in through the nose, filling up your lungs with a slow, steady inhale. And breathing out, releasing all the air, slow and controlled. And once again, breathing in, filling up your lungs, and breathing out, releasing all the air. For the last time, inhale and fill up all the way to your collarbones. And release all the way down. And when you're ready, return to the natural rhythm of your breath. Begin to gently notice the flow of your natural breath going in and out through the nostrils or in and out through the mouth. There's no need to modify your breath for the rest of the meditation. Just stay with your natural breath. Now notice your posture. While remaining comfortable, try keeping the crown of your head reaching up toward the sky, your back straight, and your shoulders relaxed. Pull them down gently away from your ears. Your chin can slightly tilt downward, and maybe take a second to release any tension you might be holding on to in your jaw. Whether your eyes are open or closed, come to notice the tiny muscles around your eyes. Relax your eyes. Relax your face. Now begin to remember a time when you looked at another person or an animal, like your pet, or maybe a baby or a loved one, with love and kindness. Think of that memory. And as you recall this experience of a beloved person or animal, pay close attention and notice the sensations that arise in and around your eyes. Maybe those sensations give feelings of warmth, softness, or tenderness. Maybe you can feel sensations of happiness or joy in all those tiny muscles around your eyes. Let those feelings become established as you sit for a minute and recall this memory of your loved one. Now, staying with those feelings the best that you can, turn your attention back toward your whole body And see if those feelings of tenderness and warmth can fill your inner awareness of yourself as you gently allow your awareness to follow the sensations of your breathing, the beating of your heart, and the contact your body is making with your chair or cushion, the floor, and your clothing. When you're ready, keep your awareness within yourself and repeat to yourself in your mind at a pace and with enough space so it feels natural and comfortable for you. May I be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I live with peace and gratitude. May I be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I live with peace and gratitude. May I be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I live with peace and gratitude. Now slowly and gently begin to let go of your concentration on yourself And begin to bring to mind a person or a group of people that you care for deeply, that you find easy to like, or whose well-being is important to you. Maybe it's a friend or a group of people who've cared deeply for you. It can be anyone who easily brings up feelings of love, kindness, and ease. Just like you, they also want to feel safe, well, and at peace. Offer this kindness and support to your friend or loved one, wishing them well by repeating to yourself, "May you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude. May you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude." May you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude. Now gently let the image of your loved one go. And when you're ready, come to imagine someone or a group of people you have neutral feelings for. Nothing strongly positive or negative. You don't have to know them well, and you don't have to really know them at all. Maybe there's someone you see around sometimes, a cashier at a store, or a server in a restaurant. Maybe it's the person who was standing in line with you while you were waiting to pay for something. Or maybe they're a stranger you noticed in passing somewhere. Once you've located this person, remember that, like you, they are a being with perceptions and feelings. Their feelings and perceptions are as real and important to them as yours are to you. And like you, they want to feel safe and peaceful. Offer your kindness and support to them by repeating to yourself, may you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude. May you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude. May you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude. And now gently let your neutral person go and begin to call to mind a person or a group of people that you find difficult or who bring up conflicting or negative feelings for you. Maybe there's someone close to you, like a family member or a loved one with whom you're having a tough time right now. Maybe it's someone you don't like, or a person or a group of people who've done something to you or to others that caused harm. Call them to mind and remember that being kind and compassionate does not mean that you approve of, allow, or tolerate what you find objectionable in their beliefs, words, or actions. Your kindness and compassion toward them does not lessen your opposition to what they believe, say, or do. And also remember that, like you, they are a person who has experiences and feelings. Offer kindness to them by repeating to yourself, "May you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude. May you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude." May you be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with peace and gratitude. And now begin to let the difficult person go. And when you're ready, gently begin to expand your awareness outward and come to imagine all people, animals, and sentient beings. Sometimes this can be challenging, but if we listen, we can hear sounds that remind us of all the others in existence. Noises of traffic, planes overhead, people talking. Sometimes it's quiet, but people and animals pop into our mind. We can allow our imagination to run, or we can sit comfortably in the awareness of all beings. Whatever comes to you can be filled with kindness and compassion as you offer. May all beings be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May they be healthy in body and mind. May they live with peace and gratitude. May all beings be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May they be healthy in body and mind. May they live with peace and gratitude. May all beings be filled with loving kindness and safe from inner and outer harm. May they be healthy in body and mind. May they live with peace and gratitude. How are we doing? Everybody live? It's kind of a long meditation. How was it for the people who haven't done this type of meditation before, or very much? Hard? Easy? Tell me one more time.
I think I fell asleep.
You fell asleep? Yeah, it's relaxing. It can be relaxing. Sometimes it's a little stressful for people if they have a lot of feelings come up, or they think they should have feelings, but they don't have feelings. Did anybody not have feelings come up? Anybody have any feelings come up where they felt conflicted between what they were trying to do and what they were actually doing? So a couple weeks ago, somebody brought up that they really struggled to have feelings when they meditate, even to generate feelings of kindness and compassion, particularly when you're supposed to think about the negative person. They really struggled, but generally they were struggling with just being able to generate any kind of emotional thing. And I talked about this a little earlier. I said I wanted to return to it. And that is, what happens if you don't feel things during meditation? I mean, initially, I know metta sounds like it's this warm, fuzzy practice of loving kindness, right? So you come into it thinking, well, I'm going to have these warm, fuzzy feelings. But then sometimes questions come up like, I'm repeating the phrases, but like, I'm just not feeling it. What do I do? And I wanted to come back to this because there is actually a way to practice metta called dry metta, in which you focus on the intention of kindness or goodwill or friendliness, even if the emotions or the feelings of warmth aren't present. And it literally takes the pressure off, feeling like you have to produce a feeling. So the focus is on intention building and slowly changing your inner narrative. In Buddhism, intention is vitally important, actually. In the Eightfold Path, it's the second step on the path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So right intention is a commitment to cultivate a positive, ethical mindset free from harmful thoughts and motivations. It's the foundation of karma, which is our actions. Karma gets generated through our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And so our intentions behind all those three things are profoundly important. So how does practicing dry metta, not focusing on feelings as much as intentions, help us? Well, we focus on the intentions and they act to strengthen and stabilize and kind of center our mind. It acts kind of like a complement to warm, they call it warm or wet metta, which is when you practice with emotion. That's what it's referred to, with all the feelings. So especially when there's struggle or difficulty around certain people or circumstances, utilizing the dry metta method is beneficial. You just focus on your intentions. And so once I started thinking about intentions, I thought, well, then we need to be clear about what intentions are, like intentions versus goals. So we know goals are valuable. They involve like envisioning a future outcome in the world or in your behavior or in your mindset. And then maybe some planning goes into it and you apply some discipline and you work hard to achieve whatever the goal is. And I kind of see goals as providing like direction for our lives. Committing to and envisioning goals kind of keeps us on track with our efforts. But setting goals and setting intentions are not really the same thing, because goals involve keeping your mind involved in like this imagined future thing. The future is always the focus. And then you start to think, well, will I reach the goal? Will I be happy when I reach the goal? What will happen when I reach the goal? What happens next? So in Buddhism, setting intentions is different. It's not oriented around or toward a future outcome like a goal. Instead, it's more like a path of practice that focuses on how we are in the present moment. So your attention is focused on how you are right now. You set your intentions based on understanding what matters most to you. And you make a commitment to align your thoughts and your words and your actions with your inner values. So the more we consistently practice and reflect, and the more you choose to live in a way that aligns with your values, and your ability to act from your intentions gets a lot easier. And being grounded in the intentions provides integrity and unity. And through skillful cultivation of intention, we can set wise goals and work hard to achieve them without getting caught or wrapped up in attachment to the outcome. Lastly, in Buddhism, intention manifests itself as volition. So when we talk about the 5 aggregates or the 5 skandhas, form, feeling, sensation, volition, and consciousness, those are the 5 things that make up the human experience. Volition is the mental factor that affects how you interpret what comes into your mind. So it doesn't mean that you don't experience or feel negative things like irritation or anger, but it does mean that there's a greater range of options for interpreting the negatives or the difficulties. Like dark intentions lead to dark results, and bright intentions lead to brighter results. So circling back around to metta practice and applying right intentions, you can just forget about judging yourself, particularly if difficult or uncomfortable feelings come, or feelings just don't come at all. You just work with what's arising. You can rely on your bodhicitta, your Buddha nature, or your Buddha mind, and you practice leading with your intentions. So right intentions, they're like this muscle that we, like everything else, we develop over time by exercising them. And when you lose it, you just have to start over again. So if we develop the habit of right intentions, so it becomes kind of unconscious, it's just part of the way that we live. It's like an automatic response to all situations. Just like when we practice metta, our automatic response to all situations is kindness and compassion. So I thought it was really interesting that, especially for people, because not everybody's wired the same way, for people who have trouble generating feelings or attaching them in the moment during this practice, you can come back and just set an intention to be kind or to be compassionate. And you don't have to worry about what it feels like. You just keep that in your mind as you practice. And then the stress of not being able to feel a thing doesn't exist anymore. And you're just sitting with what's arising for you in the moment as you go through. Does that make sense? More confusing? Anybody have anything they want to add? You look like you want to. Yeah.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What branches of Buddhism practice metta and meditation?
The Theravada Buddhists practice. Out here, the Metaphorist monks practice metta. I think a lot of branches of Buddhism practice metta. I know, I don't think metta is practiced too much in Zen, but like the Tibetan Buddhists, Vajrayana practice practices Metta. There's a lot of different variations of Metta. There's a lot of different phrases that you can say. You can make up your own. It's one of those. I didn't start with Metta. I started with Zen, and I'm finding that the two practices complement each other, because the more I sit in silence, the more I become aware of the nature of my own mind. What thoughts come up? What's the quality of the thoughts that come up? And the stuff that I'm not wild about, I address in Metta. And so they're for me right now, they're working kind of hand in hand. So I've been practicing Zen consistently for about 4 years. I had a practice a long, long time ago that I came back to, basically. And Metta I've been practicing for the last maybe 3 years. And it's a practice that really throws people through a loop. It really can be a very difficult practice. It seems like it should be super easy, and it's just not. I think the first hurdle that most people have to get over is realizing that when we're sitting here thinking about the people that we're calling to mind, we're not asking you to have feelings for them. We're actually asking you to locate your feelings by using them as sort of a trigger. They're just getting you to have a response. And then you're practicing you're transcending them, and you're practicing the experience of kindness and compassion. And then we change groups, and it brings up different things for different people, each group. And you just learn to work with what arises in you, so that when you encounter it out there, your body and your brain get conditioned to respond with kindness, even if somebody is really ticking you off. You just don't respond back with anger. And it takes a while for it to sort of settle into your body so that it becomes how you are. And I think a lot of people, come to it and they might have some uncomfortable feelings. It feels kind of hokey to them in the beginning, but if you just stick with it for a hot minute, the hokiness really does go away, and you really start to see and appreciate the value of the practice. I think really more and more that it is the way that engaged Buddhism works. You cannot interact with suffering in the world without bringing more suffering into the world, unless you are able to continually come back to kindness and compassion. It doesn't mean you're excusing anything. It doesn't mean you're forgetting that people do horrible things. I mean, there's a lot of horrible things happening. But rather than letting it eat you alive, you can actually go out and meet it and not be consumed by rage, really. Especially, today. I say especially today. The world has always had horrible things going on. 25, 30, 50, 100 years ago, people would say, oh, the world is, filled with horrible things happening. It's no different today. But how we handle it, you can either be part of the problem and put more negativity out, or you can figure out a way to interact with it constructively and put different energy out that's better, to maybe come to some sort of conclusion, or at least understanding. You don't have to agree with people. Last chance. We're down to our last couple minutes. Anybody got anything? Yeah.
So one thing that you shared is, having alignment in your values, thoughts, actions, but just from different things I've heard, and maybe might be different philosophy, but we don't really control our thoughts. We just control, I guess we just see it, right?
Right. You recognize what it is.
So how do we, I don't know, it's maybe some contradictory to what you're saying, to, I guess, influence your thoughts is what you're saying? Or?
Well, it's more like And I know what you mean when you say we don't really have control over our thoughts. Thoughts just pop up. They really do. I mean, that's just how our brains work. And they pop up for all different kinds of reasons. I mean, your brain is designed to keep you safe and alive. That's it. All the other stuff that happens is, experience, reaction, memory, but you can be sitting thinking, doing nothing, and then think of somebody that you haven't thought of in 35 years, like you don't really have a lot of control over your thoughts. But the practice is that thought arises, you recognize it, you know what your values are. If you don't want to be an angry person, right? You want to be a kind person. Let's just say, for example, even if a thought arises that makes you angry, you don't have to respond with anger. You still have the thought. You might even still have the feeling. But what you do in response to it is what changes.
So might that mean, for example, I'm thinking of somebody and I think of something mean, I can either, of course, express it and go through with that, like take it as initiative, or recognize it's a mean thought, I can let it go, or it's just what it is, it's a mean thought.
Right. Right. Because which is worse? I mean, think about karma. Karma is action, but it also includes your thoughts. So if you're somebody that has mean thoughts all day long, maybe the best that you can do is to recognize that you're having mean thoughts and not let a mean thing come out of your mouth, or not pick up a rock and throw it at somebody. Maybe that's the best that can happen. And that's still better than reacting in a mean way from the mean thought. I heard a couple years ago, it was like one of the best things I ever heard somebody say, not every thought has to have a feeling attached to it, and not every feeling has to have an action attached to it. We can have thoughts. They can come and they can go. We can have emotions. They can come and they can go. The bad ones over time will probably come and go faster. It's like you get mad and you hang on to the mad and you drag the mad with you, and you put the mad in the backpack and then you're dragging the backpack with you, and it's like with you all the time. It's exhausting. The mad comes, the mad goes. You just put the mad down. You recognize the mad and you walk away from it. You don't have to carry it. It's really hard. In the beginning especially, it's really hard. But we're just reconditioning our brain to interact with thoughts and emotions differently. Because if you didn't think about it and you didn't try to do it differently, you might be the kind of person who's wired to just run around and be mad and angry all the time. Like some people live their whole lives that way. Some people are happy people by nature. Just stuff rolls off their back. If you're not born like that, but you prefer to be like that, you prefer to be happy and not miserable, this is a way to kind of shove yourself in that direction.
Is it about controlling your own karma?
Well, you certainly have a responsibility, I think, for your own karma. I mean, if you believe in karma, right?
Well, they say, it's how someone is treated becomes their karma. How you react to how they treat you is
Your karma. Your karma is your actions.
right.
Right.
So through this metta, you can overcome that, go more into a parasympathetic state instead of the fighter.
Rest and digest rather than fight or flight. Yeah. Yeah, we're toning our vagus nerve like all the time with meditation, basically. We're calming the F down because we get triggered, right? Something happens, we're triggered, however it is. You don't have to be triggered by everything that happens. You certainly are aware of it. You recognize that thoughts pop into your head. You have no control over them. I have thoughts pop into my head all the time. Some of them I don't like, Recognize the thought. I don't have to do anything about it. I certainly don't have to get upset about it if it's just a thought. But when your thoughts start to rule and your reactions rule your behavior, then we have problems. Anything else? It's like my bedtime. 8:02. I don't want to keep you guys here all night. I do want to respect your time because the class is only an hour. Let's close with a dedication of merit, and then we'll have our host come up and do announcements, and then we'll get out of here. If you're comfortable, you can bring your palms to your heart center. May the benefit of this practice be transferred to all beings in all directions. May all beings be at peace and free from suffering. May any merit gained from this practice be transferred to Q during her time of recovery and healing, and to Dan, who cares for her, and to her family and friends who send love and healing to her. Thanks, everybody. Come on up.
Hello, everyone. I'm tonight's host, Jono. We opened the Dharmabumtemple 18 years ago to introduce Buddhist practice to those who show up. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and are not looking for students. They're simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of the practice. Every night we have different classes led by different people from various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sangha that meets several times a week for anyone with addiction, and our food redistribution program is every Thursday at 4:30. We have classes and programs every day, and everything we offer here is always free. The full schedule is on our website and also posted in the entryway above the shoe rack. This Saturday is the monthly half-day silent meditation. If you're interested, you should be seated by 7:55. We also have a full lending library. If you see a book you like, feel free to borrow it and bring it back whenever you are done with it. Please straighten your seat or cushion before you head out. If a few people could stay to close and latch the windows, that would be helpful. Thank you for being here. We wish you well and hope to see you all again.
Thank you.